What's up, everybody? It's Courtney. I am back with another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about astrology. We are going to discuss the transits that are happening and that have been happening all year in this year of the nine. So, of course, because I'm Courtney and this is the House of Rest, we are also going to mix in some numerology, tarot symbolism, and God. Okay, so I was looking at my ephemeris. Oh my God, I have like this thing about. Well, I don't really lay there. I don't lay on that side of the bed, so I guess it's fine. And I just dropped a whole bunch of papers. So I was looking at my ephemeris, and it's very interesting. So many retrogrades that we have been experiencing, and not only have the Mercury retrogrades this year been crazy, a little crazy. Tropical astrologers would say, 111 on the timer, that it is because Uranus has entered into the sign of Gemini. Now, in the actual sky, according to the IAU boundaries, which maps the entire sky and the constellation zones, if you will, Uranus is actually in the sign of Taurus. So, for this video, we are mainly just going to talk about what planets have been in retrograde and since when. 0144 on the counter. What's up to my chosen ones? Okay. Um, so we just finished, because it's December 2nd as I'm filming this video at 5:37 p.m. I'm in Bali, Indonesia. And we just finished a retrograde. Oh my God, I need to tell you guys. That Blue passed away. Can you believe it? That my animal companion of almost 16 years freaking passed away. Like it almost feels like unimaginable, as if she was just like supposed to live forever. And no, she didn't live forever. And she got to live out the last year of her life in Bali. And oh my God, like, yeah. So to all my viewers who have been here for me since the very beginning, shout out to Teddy. Shout out to Teddy. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Can you believe it? So Blue passed away on the day that Mercury went direct. Can you believe it? 321 was on the counter when I said that. It's countdown energy. Like now that Saturn has gone direct, now that Mercury has gone direct, things are starting to shift. We're about to experience our last full moon of the year on December 4th. Oh my God, I'm seeing so many numbers. It's like hard for me not to say it. So things are intense. This is the year of the nine. Humanitarianism, single solo, like going to the top of the mountain and having like a reckoning with the divine. Introspection, healing, accountability, forgiveness, the end of a cycle, the end of an era. The end of an era. Okay, so it's the year of the snake, the year of the nine, and I am not new to this. I'm true to this. I was born in the year of the nine. I'm 36. The nine, like when I tell you, but oh my God, this year has been crazy. Now, tropical astrologers and sidereal astrologers are looking at this through different lenses, and you guys know, or if you don't, you do, that I am really trying to reconcile astronomy and astrology, because if we're going to look at tropical, if we're going to look at sidereal, then we should also consider the actual IAU. Because the IAU has mapped the sky to where it's universal. Like if everyone's using a different system, then how are we really able to find the truth, right? Because the truth is repeatable, it's low-key calculatable, it's cyclical, and we learn this in so many different aspects, in so many different ways. But I really think that we should at least be looking at universally, as astrologers and even astronomers, whatever, get in on this, the same system and the same calculation. So with the IAU boundaries, sometimes it's different than tropical or sidereal. And so we'll get into that a little bit more later. So where do we start? I've got sunshine on a cloudy day when it's cold outside, because it's winter in America, right, in the northern hemisphere. But I've got the month of May, because I'm in Bali, right? Well, I guess. Okay, so I'm looking at the month of May, which is why that song came out. Please excuse me, but not really. The month of May is when we experienced a couple of outer planets, according to tropical astrology, changing signs. Okay. Now, in the month of June, we had Jupiter enter the sign of Cancer, which it was really in Gemini, and it's still in Gemini. But according to tropical astrology, Jupiter entered into Cancer as of June of 2025. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels. This is where it really hit. July. July. Where were you in the month of July? What was going on? July 2025. Oh my God. Now, I've talked about this in my tarot readings on my other channel. If you're called to it, Royal Blue Tarot. Blue spelled like the cheese for my baby Blue. Rest in peace to my baby. So in July, but I believe this really kicked off in August of 2024. The Lionsgate portal of 2024, the 888 portal. Oh my God! Like things confirmation with 0808 on the screen. That portal unlocked something. Okay, that summer was a heavy hitter. 2024 August. Okay, Leo season. What's up to my Leos? Gang gang. I'm not a Leo, but gang gang. Okay. So now we're about to experience this. Oh my God. Okay. So we had a new moon. I'm going to get back to this. We had a new moon in Gemini happen. Where's it at? Where's the Gemini new moon? There it is. Thank you, Spirit. Oh my God. That's why. Okay. So May of 2025. Thank you, Spirit. May of 2025, we had a new moon in the sign of Gemini. Oh my God. May 27th. Okay, so the end of May, the new moon in Gemini, because we're about to experience the full moon in Gemini, because from a new moon to a full moon is about 6 months. Okay, so the new moon happened in May, and we're about to experience that full moon in Gemini during Sagittarius season in 2 days on December 4th. Oh my God, I need to post this video tonight, which is the morning for you. Okay, so things really started to kick off in May of 2025. I just love that I'm smiling like this and being so excited because, oh my God, Blue passing away. I just feel like, what is going on with my life? Okay. What's going on with my life? But when I do tarot, when I do astrology, when I get into divine language and patterns and whatever, it's just my happy place, y'all. It's my happy place, 10 on the timer. Okay, so it got crazy. A new moon in Gemini, May 27th of 2025. Whew, okay, so then in July, we experienced, oh, thank you, Spirit, thank you, angels. Okay, this is so crazy. So then in July of 2025, we experienced our first Mercury retrograde with Uranus in the sign of Gemini. Again, we're talking about tropical astrology right here. Uranus had entered the sign of Gemini the second week, like on the 8th of July. Oh my God, July 8th. Woo! Oh my God. Okay, so that, ooh, okay. So Uranus entered the sign of Gemini on July the 8th. Then we experienced our first Mercury retrograde with Uranus and Gemini because Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So with Uranus, the planet of revolution, radical change, sudden like power energy in the tarot. Okay, oh my God. Uranus is also the higher octave of Mercury. So let's say Mercury is like someone who's witty, okay? Uranus like is about to debate you on behalf of the collective. You know what I'm saying? Like Mercury might be about like what I think. Uranus is about what's best for the collective type stuff. Okay. It's like it's the higher octave of the mind. I mean, you could even consider universal consciousness, individual consciousness versus universal consciousness, because the higher planets, the higher octave of these planets, right? You have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Those three planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. Generational, collective, uh, an era. You know what I'm saying? It's my God, divine consciousness, unconditional love, and I don't know what you would call Pluto, but it's crazy. Okay, so this is why this is significant with Uranus being in the sign of Gemini and yet Mercury going retrograde while Uranus is Gemini, which Uranus, in according to tropical astrology, is going to transit Gemini for the next 8 years. Okay, 13 on the clock. So Uranus entered Gemini in July, and it's going to be going forward and backwards and doing its thing in the sign of Gemini for a while. So we are going to experience radical change collectively in regards to technology, in regards to, we're going to go through a transformation in the way we communicate. Gemini, an air sign, uh, fixed air, the way we communicate is going to go through a radical change confirmation because it was just 1344 on the clock, which is 444. I'm telling you, the divine is all over this. There's just so much going on. So, whew, so the everything started for the purpose of this video in May. Okay, now Mercury retrograde happened on the 18th of July. Okay. And then also freaking Saturn. Okay, because Saturn went retrograde on the 13th of July. So I mean from the 8th to the 13th to the 17th, we had a whole week of like a cascade, like a do. I mean, wow. Okay. So Saturn going retrograde on July the 13th is a big deal because of the fact it's a big deal, period. Okay. When Saturn going retrograde, it's like we got to review our lessons. Oh my God. Um, So Saturn just went direct on 14:55 on the clock, which is 555. A whole bunch of change. Okay, something significantly changed, rapid fast change when we're talking about the 28th of November, which we just passed. The day before Blue passed away, Saturn went direct. And then on the 29th, Mercury went direct. Hilarious that we're talking about Saturn, which rules Capricorn and Aquarius, and it was just 15 on the clock, which is devil energy. Capricorn, again, ruled by Aquarius, and the devil card in the tarot related to Capricorn energy. I'm just saying. Lessons, right? The things that we learn, like the shadow, like those lessons that we almost got to learn in the dark, okay? Woo! Saturn will show you about your obsessions, your unhealthy attachments. It'll teach you about delayed gratification versus instant gratification. 15:51 on the clock. Confirmation. My God. Okay, so Mercury, Saturn, Uranus had a lot of stuff going on in the month of July. Then we went into August. And when did Jupiter enter Cancer? We already said that. In June. Okay, so May, June, July. I mean, every month it's been like do. Okay. So in August, Mercury went back direct. Saturn was in retrograde. Uranus went retrograde. That's Neptune. I'll be mixing them up in the ephemeris. So Neptune had already went retrograde starting back when, Spirit? In July. Oh my God. Just a few days before Uranus went into Gemini. So July the 4th. Ooh, not 4th of July in America. What was going on 4th of July in America? Because I wasn't here. But dang, you know what I'm saying? 4th of July, Neptune went retrograde. 8th of July, Uranus entered Gemini. Shoot. 13th of July, Saturn went retrograde. And 18th of July, Mercury went retrograde. I mean, dang. July was like, what? Don't talk to me, July. Okay. So then in August, Saturn was already retrograde, Neptune was already retrograde. Now they had contacted, because remember that was a whole big thing, right? When Saturn and Neptune both conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries, which when did that happen? In motherfucking May. In May. Oh my God. I'm telling you, May. I've got the month of May. Ooh. The month of May, y'all, it got popping. If it wasn't already popping in the year of the nine, it got popping in the month of May. Where was you at? Do you hear me? So fast forwarding, right? We was talking about August. We was talking about August. So Saturn was already retrograde. Neptune was already retrograde. Oh my God. So Ceres, the asteroid Ceres, oh my God, went retrograde on the 11th of August of 2025. And when I tell you how significant that is, because of the fact that even right now I'm over here tracking Ceres, because it is in a specific area of the sky in the constellation called Cetus. Now, when did it get there? Maybe in October. No, I feel like I was looking at it then. Maybe in September. I don't even know. I'm still. This is why, again, we need to reconcile astronomy and astrology, because I really want to look at 1919 on the clock. Full transparency, the sun and the sun. Okay, clarity, transparency. Um, I would love to be able to track it, but I only have my American ephemeris here. And then there are websites like masteringthezodiac.com, where you can look at, I think that's the only website. We need to do better. So you can look at masteringthezodiac.com, where you can look at the midpoint calculations, which is like true sidereal. It's not Vedic astrology, it's true sidereal. And you can also see according to the galactic center if we use that as the reference point in the sky, because it's all about reference points. That's all we can do. Science is like, we're doing our best to get as close to the calculations as possible. So again, right, let's get truthful. 2020 vision, I love that. Clarity, 2020 was on the clock. Confirmation, spirit, thank you. So I believe that Ceres is, I believe, Ceres is in this constellation called Cetus, which the sun actually runs through Cetus for roughly 14 to 20 hours every single year around March the 27th through the 29th, which is hilarious because my baby Blue, she was born on March 29th, and she's an Aries. But when I look at the sidereal astrology, when I looked at the actual sky, my baby was Pisces. Oh my God, because I'm a Pisces sun, but in true sky, I am an Aquarius sun. So really, really interesting astrology and looking at these different aspects of yourself. I have a digital product where you can map your yod, and in music theory, which is very rudimentary, it's not even difficult. There is what's called the circle of fifths, which is how you can know and memorize key signatures in music and what key has what sharps and what flats. I keep seeing 21. I just saw 2133. I'm a 20. I was born on the 21st. And so there is what's called, for C major scale, C sharp, C flat major scale, it forms an isosceles triangle. And if you're familiar with geometry, an isosceles triangle has two equal sides and a short base. And in astrology, when you look at the yod, it's formed by two quincunxes and a sextile, which gives you the equilateral, it's not an equilateral triangle. It gives you the two equal sides, and the sextile at the bottom gives the short base. And so basically, I created an astrology wheel to where you can see from the, it's not even your midheaven, it's just from the top of your chart to, with that yod, it basically shows where you can map it. So you may not have actual planets or points in those spaces, but it still tells you a lot about who you are, because whatever three signs land with that yod or that isosceles triangle, it was just 2244, which is 444. You're able to see something very interesting about yourself. So anyway, check out my Etsy store. It's in the description box below. And that chart is available. I'm trying to think what product. You just have to look. You have to look and look through the pictures and make sure you're getting the right product. Anyway, so Ceres in the sign of Cetus, 2323, which is 5 and 5. Ceres and it's about the truth. It's the fives, it's about the truth, right? Okay, Christ consciousness. So Ceres being in the sign of Cetus, Ceres has to do with, it's the goddess of agriculture, okay? All of the constellations and even the celestial bodies, they're based on myths, right? So with Ceres, it was about the goddess of agriculture, and it's about how we mother ourselves. Like, how do we nurture? Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels. How do we nurture ourselves and others is what Ceres is about in the birth chart. So with Ceres transiting, so for the collective, for us all, Ceres being in the sign of Cetus, which the sun passes through for a very short window of every year, but the sun still passes through it. So if we're looking at astrology and the sun's path, and then we're still looking at all these other planets, which don't necessarily only follow the sun's path, they also go into other constellations. Like Orion is apparently, y'all remember Orion from Men in Black? Orion, it was just 2433, which is 6 and 6. Orion was a constellation in Men in Black that was like supposed to be like really, really important in our galaxy. And the moon, Pluto, different planetary bodies celestial bodies, they transit through Orion. So why aren't we talking about it? Why are we only just like patriarchy, right? Patriarchy in religion and science and so many things. But I mean, don't let me lie, but it's in some things. And so the fact that we only look at the sun's path, right, which the sun related to Leo, relating to the masculine, relating to the father, it's like we only look at that path, but why aren't we looking at the path of the mother? Why aren't we looking at the path of the moon? Why aren't we looking at the path of our yin energy? Interesting. Because the moon travels through Cetus every now and then, apparently. I'm researching this. Check it out for yourself. So Ceres going retrograde in the month of August, very, very significant. Now, technically, it's retrograding through Pisces, but it winds up entering into the stars of Cetus, which is the sea monster. And I relate Cetus to Christ the cornerstone. The stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. I feel like by the time we're done with it, or by the time I'm done with it, we understand how important Cetus is, even though it seems very small and insignificant. That's what she said, because it ain't the size that counts. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the size that counts. When we look at the number zero, when we look at the thumb, when we look at, I mean, it's like all these things. Oh my God, it's all these things. Okay, so the biggest thing that I have been talking about, and I had mentioned the hidden 1111 portal, which was the 29th of 11. Now, the 29th of November, when the Bible talks about how the kingdom of God comes not with observation. And the Bible also says that it's like God makes the weak things of this world strong and the strong things makes them weak. So there's something that when people think something is like, oh, it's like the biggest, it's the easiest to see, it seems obvious. There's something about it. Like you can't even go with what seems obvious. You really can't, or you're going to miss the mark. You're going to miss the mark. So like how the sun, we're only looking at the sun's path because it seems like the most significant star in our solar system, according to the ego, maybe. I don't really know, whatever. So I'm not trying to insert my opinions on things. And so there's something about the 29th of November because 2 and 9 adds up to 11. Okay, now when you look at the 2 in the tarot, the high priestess, whenever you see 2s in regards to Roman numerals, it looks like an 11. It looks like an 11 because 11 reduces to a 2. So again, are we seeing, right? Spirit, open our inner eyes and our inner ears and able to see and hear you more clearly. So the 29th, 2 plus 9, which reduces to an 11. The 29th of November, a lot of people were looking at the 1111 portal. But the 11th of November almost seems too obvious. It almost seems too obvious. But when you get to, I'd even beg to say the 29th of February is a hidden 1111 portal. But I'm just saying. So interesting that Blue passed away on that day, and it was a significant holiday. I mean, there's always ceremonies in Bali, oh my God. But it was a significant ceremony going on. So they had Galangang for 10 days, and then Kuningang, which was on the 29th of November, the day Mercury went direct. Oh my God, there's just so many different synchronicities that it's like we'd be here all day, but are you catching it? And it wound up being 29 minutes exactly when I was saying that. 29 and 11, confirmation. So Spirit is always speaking. And if we tried to catch every little thing, it would be exhausting, which is why we have our reticular activating system, right? We are literally soaking in so much information all the time, but what do we actually notice? What are we actually aware of? Whatever. Okay. So May, June, July, August, it got lit. It got lit. And then especially when Ceres started to retrograde into Cetus, oh, that one started to hit, didn't it? Y'all should have seen me caregiving for Blue. And again, she started to get sick in May. In May was when her body started to go through change after change after change after change after change. Now, I watched my mother pass away in 2 weeks. I watched my dog pass away low-key in 5 months, 5 or 6 months. Oh my God. I don't know what everybody else went through this year, but it was serious. This year of the 9, this end of a cycle, it was serious. Let me know in the comments. How was it for you? You feel me? So, God is good if you've been learning your lesson. So even with Saturn going direct on the 28th of November, I know I'm talking about a lot of things. So whatever, 29th of November, hidden 1111 portal, the day Mercury went direct. What's been going on for you, right? But Saturn going direct after gone retrograde all the way back in July, my God. See, have you learned the lesson? Were you doing your homework? Because I thank you, Spirit, thank you, angels. Because what I was getting was when Saturn goes direct, it's almost like it's time to study. Because when Saturn is moving, or I don't know, are the tests when Saturn is retrograde? Because it seems like it's when it's direct. And when it goes retrograde, it's like it's giving you some time to study, like to go over your lessons. Because there's something about, have you learned the lesson? That's low key what I keep hearing. Have you learned? I'm not like clairaudient. I don't like hear things, but it's like my inner ears. I'll be hearing stuff. So it's something about, have you learned your lesson? Because you're about to get tested. And we about to go into freaking Capricorn season in a minute. Oh my God, 31 on the clock. Because you low key have gone through a transformation, but is it about to show? Like, what are you, have you integrated the lesson, right? The pride before the fall, the devil before the tower, because something, because it's Capricorn season and Aquarius season. I'm saying, like, it's almost like Temperance is like Sagittarius energy. So we are in Sag season right now, right? So there's something about integrating the lesson, because Saturn done went direct. Saturn just went direct. So have you learned the lesson? Ceres also just went direct. Like, when that happen? Ceres also just went direct on the 21st of November, 2111. Very, very interesting. And Jupiter just went retrograde November the 12th, the 11th. November the 11th. That would be important. 1, 2, 3. Yep. 11. Oh, on the 11 portal, Jupiter went retrograde. Psych, gotcha. The planet of luck and expansion went retrograde on 11/11, 33:03 on the clock. Gotcha. That's what it feels like. That's immediately what I got. So, my God, this is crazy, y'all. So, Jupiter at 25 degrees of Cancer. Now, in tropical astrology, they make each zodiac the same size, 30 degrees, which really ain't the case. In the sky, all the zodiacs are different signs, all are different sizes. Thank you, Spirit. All of the signs, the zodiac signs, they're different sizes. But in tropical astrology, they make it equal, 30 degrees. So at 25 degrees of Cancer, Jupiter goes retrograde. Jupiter done made it almost all the way through Cancer and was like, psych. That's how it feels. Jupiter in retrograde, I feel like the blessings is on pause, right? And yet Saturn, which just went direct, it's like, Lord, are you playing with your children? Because what? Saturn and Jupiter are low-key like the teachers of the sky. You got the sun and the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Okay, them 5 right there. It's like the sun and the moon is like parents, and then you got, I like this. Thank you, Spirit. So it's like the sun and the moon are like parents, right? Mother and father. Then you got Mercury, Venus, Mars, the 3 kids. Then you got Saturn and Jupiter. I don't know if they go in reverse order. Jupiter, Saturn, right? Which again are like 2 teachers. Then you have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, which are like the older children. So you think about ICMC, inner child, mature child. You got Mercury. I like the way I be looking at this. Let me know how y'all feel. The sun and the moon as the teachers, the parents. Because I looked at Jupiter and Saturn as parents as well. But let's just say Jupiter and Saturn are teachers. But low key, it's like parents. But the sun and the moon are like the parents that we see and experience. But then you have Jupiter and Saturn, which are like our parents that we can't see, which are teaching us, whatever. Anyway, so Jupiter, the planet of expansion, Saturn being the planet of restriction. Oh my God. So Jupiter, the planet of expansion, having gone retrograde, to me, you're contracting. We're not expanding. We're not expanding if it was just 35:44 on the clock, which is 8 and 8. But which again, abundance, the 8, right? Jupiter going retrograde and then Saturn going direct feels like, what are we doing? Are you playing? Are you playing? I thought we were supposed to be expanding, but we ain't really expanding because Saturn been retrograde. Like, I don't even know. It's to me, I'm like, what are we doing? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm doing me. That's what God's doing. God's like, I'm doing me. I'm doing me. I'm teaching y'all. I'm resetting the balance because we're going to a new cycle. See, we're going to the year of the 10, which a lot of people like to say we're going to the year of the 1. But if you add up 2026, it adds up to 10 and then has to reduce down to a 1. So we're going into a Wheel of Fortune year. The 9 is the end of a cycle. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we go to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then we go to 20. In that same, you know what I'm saying? In that same procession. So 10 is the beginning of the next cycle. 10 is also a 1. 0, 1, 1, 0. It's the same thing. And the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Okay? Get into that esoteric mysticism of the Bible because what? Right? So Jupiter, the planet of expansion, going retrograde. So it's like we're not really getting the blessing, but then Saturn going direct means we're also not being restricted. So we're still in this place of limbo. We're still in this place of what are we doing? God, what are we doing? Come on, quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. So now in this month of November, we have Mercury, which just went direct, Ceres, which just went direct, Jupiter, which just went retrograde, Saturn, which just went direct. And it's like this cascade. I mean, if I could show you my ephemeris, which of course you just wouldn't understand. Can you believe I know how to read this? Oh my God, you guys, this is an ephemeris. This is an ephemeris. So I actually put little squares around when things go direct and when things go retrograde. And you can see there's a D, there's a D, there's an R, there's a D. So the retrograde happened with the one planet earlier in the month, and then all these planets going direct. My pages is about to fall out because I'll be opening, I'll be on it all night, man. I'll be on it all day straight up. And if you want me, you can find me in there. I'm on it. I'm on it. Okay, so crazy. And then Blue passed away. I have it. I have it written down. Blue passed away on Kuningang. I can't believe it, y'all. I really can't believe it. It just feel like Blue was never supposed to pass away. It's insane. So we have 38 minutes. Let's hurry up. Okay, so December. I mean, we're not really in a rush. I hope you're tripping. I hope you got your coffee out or some hot chocolate or I don't know. It's December. Hope you're doing what you do. So in December, right, which here we are, we're about to experience our last full moon of the year, which is that full moon in Gemini. So what have you been learning, right? Gemini, again, knowledge. What have you been learning? Which has been multiple things. You've been learning because it's fixed air. It's like you're not really doing nothing with it. You ain't really changing nothing with it. You're collecting information. That's the energy of Gemini. It's like it's stabilizing the mind. The fixed signs are the stabilizers. So what have you been learning? What have you been learning? And because you've been learning something from, what is it, May. You've been learning something from May to November, May to December. Is it the end of May? Have you been taking notes? I don't know. Okay, so that full moon in Gemini, May the 27th. Yeah, so the end of May to the beginning of December. 6 months. What have you learned? What have you learned? Because with Saturn direct, it's go time. Again, the teachers. So your mind, your egoic, your lower mind. What have you been learning? Because you've been studying. What intentions did you set at the end of May, right? Like, what did you start? There's something that got started. It was the beginning of a cycle, a lunar cycle. Because, and we're constantly having these lunar cycles on those axes of signs. Oh, astrology, it gets so deep, but good thing we have a lifetime to study it, right? And we're never going to know it all, but we can learn, right? So, what have you been learning from May to December? Because you're about to be tested on it, is what it seems like. With Saturn going direct and us experiencing the full moon in Gemini, the last full moon of the year of a 9-year, it's the end of a cycle and it's the end of an era. So, what have you been learning? And Neptune about to go direct. It's like the fog. The fog is lifting. Whatever you've been confused on, illusions, and God is not the author of confusion. So what have you been finding clarity on? Because with Saturn and Neptune going direct within roughly 1 week of each other, a little bit more, and they're about to conjunct again the day before my birthday, hours before my birthday. Oh my God, when I tell you. Because things is really about to take off. Now that things are going direct, things are about to take off. So Saturn, Neptune, Ceres going direct. The last new moon of the year happening, I believe, right before the solstice, right before the winter solstice in Capricorn season. I'm telling you, there's going to be some sort of test in Capricorn season. And intuitively, what I'm picking up on is it might happen after Neptune goes direct. So, yeah, the second half of December, watch out now. Watch out for your tests. And then in January, Ceres is going to exit its shadow because when things go retrograde, they have like this a pre-retrograde and post-retrograde shadow. So it's like the degrees that something went retrograde, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it right now. So Ceres exits its shadow, which that is important. Even though something goes direct, it's not until something exits its shadow that whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning, so whatever. So that conjunction between Saturn and Neptune happens technically in the sign of Pisces, according to the actual sky. And I really, really want to see, because a part of me feels like it's still going to be really, really close to the Cetus boundary. So I'm not quite sure if it's going to be in the sign of Cetus, but it seems like it's going to be really close, because when I look at the IAU boundary and then I compare it to 0 to 2 degrees of Aries, and I think around maybe like 12 to 14 degrees of Pisces. I don't really remember. I have to look. I've been trying to like take notes and research it, but I feel like it's really, really close. Thank you, Spirit, for that confirmation. 44 minutes on the clock. I feel like it's really, really close, if not in the sign of Cetus. But it literally goes conjunct out here in Bali at like 8 p.m., 11 p.m. I don't know. I wrote it down, whatever. So Saturn and Neptune going conjunct for tropical astrology purposes. It's going to be going conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries, right on the cusp of my third house. I'm telling y'all, my voice, like, where is this happening in your chart? Because for me, this is happening right up against the cusp of my third house, which is, again, the house of low-key, the house of Gemini. It's the house of communication. It's the house of speaking. It's the house of teaching. It's the house of 44 on the clock, of early childhood learning, short distance travel. Where is it happening for you? Okay. Where is 0 degrees of Aries in your chart? So what else is happening around then? And we're having a new moon on the 17th of February in the sign of Aquarius, which according to the IAU, Saturn has been in Aquarius. Was it Saturn or Neptune? Either way, it's really, really interesting trying to look at 3 different systems or whatever. So things are really about to take off and pick up. Jupiter is going to go direct on March 2026. Um, it exits its shadow in June of 2026. There's just, it's like next year, I don't, it's going to be, you're going to reap the reward. So Saturn rewards those who have been like doing their testing. Like, have you been learning your lessons? Because for you to receive the rewards of Jupiter and Saturn, which for some reason is giving me the energy of the high priestess and the hierophant, like the spiritual teachers, and almost like the sun and moon is giving me like Aries, like the empress and emperor energy. Yeah, that makes sense. So have you been learning the lessons to receive the blessings of Jupiter and even the gratification from Saturn? Saturn being ruled like by Chronos, Saturn in regards to time, cardinal Earth energy. It's like, are you going to reap the rewards? Have you been learning the lessons? Because this year, when you think about the year of the 9 hermit energy, it's like there was a lot to learn. Like the spiritual leaders, when you think about Saturn and Neptune, the planets of spirituality and leadership or teacher or responsibility, like spiritual maturity with Saturn and Neptune, spiritual leader, spiritual teacher. um, the spiritual leaders are being woken up during this time. Like so many, if not the whole entire collective, has low key gone through a spiritual awakening. If you have like the red or the blue pill, like did you choose to wake up? Did you choose to wake up from your own illusions? Because Neptune and Saturn going over the final degrees of Pisces in tropical astrology, because it's not really the final degrees of Pisces. Anyway, but with in tropical astrology, with Saturn and Neptune both going over those final degrees of Pisces, which is a very significant part of the chart, and hilarious. The fact that Cetus is right after that. It's like you don't get from Pisces to Aries without going through Cetus, without going through these deep waters, without fighting the sea monster, without this crucial. I'm getting Horcrux from Harry Potter. This crucial piece of our archetypal energy. It's like we can't leave it out. If there's 13, there has to be 14. 14, temperance, the number of divine balance. It's divine balance. The 7 is the number of completion. 14 is the number of divine balance. So if we're looking at 13 zodiacs, including Ophiuchus, according to my studies, I was like, well, there has to be a 14th. If we're looking at spokes on a wheel, that everything has its axis. Everything has its counterpart, right? Hello to my twin flamers. Like there's something about the twin flame collective, which a lot of people were looking at the 1111 portal as being significant for twin flames. But again, it's like the kingdom does not come by observation. So it was like a fake out with the 1111 portal. And I feel like it was significantly about the 29th of November, high priestess to the hermit, the shadow figures, the people that operate in the shadows, right? It's like a spiritual teacher where it's like you don't have to flaunt it. Like you genuinely are so connected with spirit. It's like people don't see that about you. There's something about that. I just thought about the term earth angels, as if like, you know, some people who just got overlooked for their power, for their spiritual connection, for their magic, you know? Wow, Salem witch trials. Very interesting. So there's a lot that we've learned in this year of the 9, a lot that we've seen Neptune, the planet of illusion, coming out of illusions, things that you've been delusional about for a really long time. I mean, lifetimes, I mean, generational. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of lies and stepping into true authenticity, to unconditional love in regards to structure, in regards to leadership, in regards to boundaries, knowing that boundaries are love, right? It's like God gives us boundaries. Boundaries are there for safety. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels. I just love that we're really walking into a sense of safety. And so, with this year of the 10, final messages, we're at 50 minutes, whatever. You guys, if you're here, you're fucking with me. So, the fact that we're walking into the year of the 10, it's as if it's the year of the harvest, right? So what have you? And I think we're starting to get that like this year. Because even going through this tough time, it's like according to the things that you've been doing. So some people, even though you've been going through a tough time, it's almost been soft compared to what other people are doing, where it comes to how other people are doing when it comes to reaping karma, right? You reap what you sow, what you give, you get. And so, especially walking into this year of the 10, when it comes to the harvest, what you're about to receive is according to all of the work that you have done. 51:15 on the clock. So I think that that's a beautiful place to stop. There's just always so much to be said. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you guys again for the condolences about my baby Blue. Oh my God. Oh my God. And as always, I am sending you guys so much love. Hopefully, I'll be back soon with another video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel about these videos. And if you have any suggestions, things that you want to know, I'm super curious. The sun is about to set, so this was perfect timing. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.